Hi everyone, it's Hali, and I am here to share a journal that I recently finished for some dear friends who just recently celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary. And so this is the tag slash card I made for them. I used some fabric from my mom's stash as well as some buttons. These are old that I grew up with in her when we used to play with her button jar, and they are just dear friends of our family, and so I thought they might appreciate that. So there's that, and here we go. You're gonna hear the clicky clacking of my dog's feet. Okay, so they are avid gardeners, and I wanted to make the cover look like an old garden gate with lots of layers of paint, and so that's what I did. Here's a Tim Holtz frame, I think Tim Holtz frame, with their wedding picture, but I've covered it up with a little lacy bit for privacy. And here is the spine, which I learned how to do from Nick the Booksmith. Thank you, Nick. And here is a little Tim Holtz frame thingy with the definition of anniversary in there. And I got that idea from Wendy at Wendy's Journal Adventure. Hi, Wendy. Thank you. And here is their initials on a little thingy there. And a little bit of lacy bit there. And let's open her up. Okay, so she is an artist, and she does wonderful botanical drawings, which is what I used in this journal since it's a junk journal. She does other things too. She does these amazing wood carving block prints that are just amazing. But so for this, I used her botanicals, and I did a collage of her botanicals. So we get into her insert, you'll get to see the individual ones. So this is a traveler's notebook, and I did the hidden spine. So I have 3 inserts. They're on elastics, and the first insert is, this is their wedding photo, and it's family photos and that sort of thing, so I'm not going to show any of this. But oh, and I did little paper clips that they can use with, as Wendy calls it, repositionable fluff. So got those. And then here's the back. And I did the Come Live With Me and Be My Love, famous poem from Christopher Marlowe. And then the second insert is the bride. And I have, since she's an author, I have a Tim Holtz. I would never do this to a real fountain pen nib, but it's a fake fountain pen nib. And so I have that on there because she's an author. And when I was growing up, I learned how to do embroidery from her and my mom, who used to do embroider napkins. So that sort of reminded me of that, and I thought that was appropriate. And here we go with her insert. And so you can see her beautiful botanical drawings. And then I printed some of them on vellum because they just look so cool. I got that idea from Tracy Fox. So hi, Tracy. And this is a picture of my nephew looking very much like my little brother, who's friends with their son, and we all grew up together. And so I just, and that actually I think is at their house. So, and because they're gardeners, I put some garden pages in. And then here's Ivy, which was in her bouquet. And that's Ginkgo biloba. And here's another one of her botanical drawings. When I was growing up, they have this multi-level porch all around the house, and they had these giant flower boxes and full of impatiens. It was just so beautiful in the summertime. Another one of her botanical drawings. A little sort of digital stampy thing down there. Some more vellum. Look at that. How beautiful is that? She could be another Tim Holtz. And daffodils, lots of daffodils all around. They're so cheerful and happy. And then here's another one. Look at that beautiful monarch butterfly. So pretty on vellum. And then this is a picture I took at their house with woods all around. So green and lush and beautiful. It was such a beautiful place to grow up. More vellum and botanicals. And daffodils. And that's a picture you can't see. And vellum. More botanicals. And is that forsythia? No, that's something else. Another picture you can't see. That's her and her grandson. And I think that's ginseng. And then that's the end of that one. And then we have the groom. And when I made hers, I went back and added some more to his because I thought it was looking a bit sparse. And I think actually he's a little bit more substantial. But I put a key on his little paperclip fluff thingy because he is an architect. And lots of wood piles and wood cutting. Living on the mountain with fireplaces and wood stoves, and because he's an architect, I threw in some architectural stuff and wood cutting stuff. And that's a picture of their house out in the woods, mountains and valleys, because they lived on the mountain next to us. We lived on one and they lived on the other. And that's a picture I took. They have just all these wonderful trails and walking trails through the woods and suspension bridges, and it's so beautiful. It's a great place to grow up. And they have a barn, so I included that. And more architectural stuff. And a picture you can't see. More barns. Architectural stuff. And this is, this is a picture from across the river when I lived at the river house, and they just happened to be down across the river on the beach, and so I whipped out my little handy dandy camera and snapped a real quick picture. It's a bit grainy though, but more architectural stuff. There's a picture. More barn stuff. Another picture. And okay, I knew in his insert I wanted to include a bear because bears are such a feature living on a mountain top, and lots of fun bear stories. So one is when we were kids and we were over there, she was in the kitchen and doing dishes or making lunch or something, and she yells, "Oh my gosh, kids, there's a bear out the window." And it was sticking its nose up against the window, and it was like at her face. And in the time it took for her to say that and for us to rush into the kitchen, it was gone. But then another one of my favorite bear stories is, and she was telling this when she was having tea with Mom in the kitchen, and there was a bear that got into the trash cans and was having a midnight snack. And so she described this, she's such a wonderful storyteller, and it was just this scene of hilarity of her husband standing in his jammies with a flashlight yelling at the bear. And she said, and it wasn't a cute cuddly little fuzzy bear either. It was the kind with the glaring angry yellow eyes. And then it stood up and it was huge. So anyway, so I knew I wanted to have a bear somewhere, and I got this picture out of National Geographic, and so I thought that was appropriate. Actually, I might want to write those stories in this little space. Maybe I'll do that. That's a good idea. And another couple pages weather stuff. And architectural stuff. And that's the end of his, and that's the other side. And then there's the back. And so that's happy anniversary to our dear family friends. Bye.